On today's news, E-Man and Canine talk about Aurora and its place in Haven. We're excited to bring you the first in a series of exclusive interviews between nation leaders and members of the new broadcast Aurora service team as we discover more about Haven's history and its future potentially through looking at the past. How poetic.
So, first question. How was Aurora founded? Can you tell us a bit more about the history?
So, Aurora was originally founded off of the Order of the Aurora, which came from the Empire of Asharia way back in 2020. We originally left the Empire in December, mostly due to rebellion against the Emperor, who was making very questionable choices and actively starting a war that no one actually wanted to fight. We rebelled, but due to us not knowing how to fight, we lost and we fled off to Haven, which is where the Spirit Knights took us in rather. From there, we slowly were being taught how the server worked, how to do politics. We slowly started building up our little encampment in Fornost. We set up a little storage area. We had a few houses, nothing much. We were being hunted. We were being tracked down by a handful of people, that absolutely hated us. All the Asharians. Now, needless to say, that's completely, different. That's completely different now, right? That's 2 years ago. But that's. Sorry, I got a little off track. As time went on with Aurora, we started to grow. We grew in population, more players came around. The Order was getting stronger. Now, the original purpose of the Order down in Haven is purely just to whatever citizens would like to, live with us in Fornost in our little citadel. They can do that. We'll protect them, and that's still like the main prowess of the Order is to protect our own and to protect those who need it, which mostly revolves around, and for most of our history has revolved around Haven. Now, with Loic coming around, living in Peloro for some time, starting conflicts, wars, whatnot, with the Auroran Vaedoxan War, with Loic's War, destroying the First Empire, we had to take action for Haven. Now, what we ended up doing with Kichu and Keshbago, Wahar, Jacon, all the other small states, we ended up creating what everyone would now realize and would recognize as the Second Empire of Uldorash. Now, originally, when founding this, the Spirit Knights had given us conflicting orders on what to do, mostly due to them, feeling defeated and not really, having a cohesive way to move forward. So we took it upon ourselves to create an empire of Haven, just like the First Empire had. Create one larger than the first one ever reached, mostly to protect Haven from Viadoxa, and more so Loic, because Loic was the threat, not the actual people of Viadoxa.
Yeah.
As time went on with that, we ended up becoming more and more involved in Haven, having to protect Haven from bandits. As that is actually how Aurora was introduced to Montroig, is that oh look, a city in Haven is getting raided by this group of no-name bandits. We ran over, we killed them, helped them out, got their stuff back. And then the Hand showed up.
Yeah.
That's probably during like the start of our like little feud with the Hands there, or at least the historical one. But to summarize our history, has more or less been under constant threat of annihilation, whether that be all of Uldorash, all of Haven, or Aurora herself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still true to this day, as people can see with the NDA war. It can be seen previously with us getting hunted down by the Asharians. The two different feuds we've had with the Hands. with the Eldhemontant invading all of Haven, making everyone feel like, this is the end of Haven,
Yeah.
we're here, it's 2022, we're alive, everyone's well and breathing, we've made it through it.
Okay.
But that is probably the best way to summarize it, is under the constant threat of total annihilation. And so Aurora always tries to at least not only keep tabs on everything, just to alert anyone in case if things are coming, but also to be ready for when that comes, even if we end up, sometimes sharing a few things late.
Okay.
I believe that's all for that question, to my knowledge for it.
Okay, so this brings us on to question 2. What makes Aurora different from other nations? What's your cultural difference? Are you a military nation, farming nation, etc.?
Okay. So, Aurora often set apart from other nations of Haven. To give examples, to set a precedent, other nations of Haven, we have, take for example, Montroig, Alfheim. Those are most commonly known as like the democracies or republics of Haven. Chevcree as well. Peloro has always been the quiet neighbor,
Yeah.
the peaceful man. Sanctuary has always had a heart of glory, and always trying to improve everyone around them. Which, mind you, a very noble goal, which as we should all strive for. But Aurora, specifically, to give at least some insight into what we try to specialize in and what we have specialized in over the past almost 2 years at this point, is simply put, we specialize in military. We, to put it bluntly, we specialize in military for the sake that we can help protect not only our own Haven, our allies. That has been our goal for the longest time, for as long as I've been here, at least, ever since I swore loyalty to the old Spirit Knights. Rum, whiskey, and all those guys. And what we specialize in, we specialize specifically in strength of community, military, not as well as roleplay and world building.
Mm-hmm.
We are not a PvP. We are not a military nation first. We have tacked that on top of roleplay and world building because let's be honest here. Not every player can get into a conversation with someone. Not every player has fun constantly getting into fights or seeking out fights. As we have learned over our time here on the server, a lot of people will end up enjoying, just talking. Whether they realize it or not, they're taking part in probably making someone's day by just sitting down by the campfire or having tea with them. That's why we always try to specialize with that, because not only will it, help further a goal of, making people have fun with RP and world building and creating very interesting and fun stories for them to take home with themselves and move on to whatever servers they go with, or tell their friends about the server. But also, let's see, but also to more or less just create a sense of community, because it helps when you log on the server semi regularly and always see one guy fishing on the river, or that you can wave to, or an old man sitting by a campfire reading his book. It gives a nice little sense of, hey, this place is lived in, this place is more than just basic block game. This is a community, whether just on Discord or actually in game, and that's what we've always tried to work on or work towards, is making people have fun in the community, and also giving them a very well protected community through our military, as we have had to learn very harshly through the hands, constantly raiding us and with people wanting to destroy us.
Hmm.
I believe that is all I can think of regarding this question.
Okay. So this brings us on to question 3. What kind of progression is there in Aurora?
Progression as in like within the community's government, or how you can get higher, right?
Yeah, let's start with political.
Okay. For political advancement, we have a few different areas. We have, most notably, as everyone will be able to at least look into and find on the very basic level, we have currently what we call the Citizenship Committee. Which take in new players, give them tours, give them houses, give them a nice place to live, introduce them to the community, tell them the rules, basically, give them a warm welcome. We have that. Anyone who has stuck around in the community for a little bit, a few weeks, maybe a month, if they ask, they can likely get in if they're interested in the Citizenship Committee. That is always something that practically any player can take part in, as long as they're willing to put in the work for it. Obviously, this is game first, and we prioritize people having fun over the whole sake of having responsibilities in Black Game Nation running. As well as we prioritize IRL first, but that's a given with any community. As for other political advancement, we also have the Diplomatic Corps, where you can join as a diplomatic aide, a diplomat, rise through the ranks there. We'll occasionally put people out on, little missions to other nations, introduce ourselves, grow a stronger bond with the outside community, as, in the past, Aurora has had issues with communicating, and has had issues in the past with reaching out and trying to make ourselves feel more at home with the community, and making the community of Stoneworks feel more comfortable with us, because for the longest time, and still somewhat, we have been the quiet kids sitting in the corner, playing with our own toys. Now, not to say that that's a bad thing. Our community is having fun, but when people constantly see one person sitting in the corner and no one knowing a single thing about that, kind of gets a little concerning sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we strive with the Diplomatic Corps, is trying to open ourselves up a bit and let everyone see what's really going on the inside here. As for progression, with people who want to take up more of an active leadership in the community here, the easiest way you can do that is likely through the Order. The Order, while we have strict rules on who can take precedent with experience and whatnot, and taking on leadership roles, whether that be leading a core of our military, running logistics, running or planning strategy, or actually just straight up making the general battle plans or ideas, or grinding for everything to make the Order run smoother. Whether it's whether you want to work for that, that's probably the easiest thing you can do, though it will take a fair bit of time to do that. As previously, we have standards for what we consider people to be able as a warden, our most basic military rank, that if you have reached that rank, we trust you to come to a war. You have reached you've reached the combat prowess we expect you to have to fight for us. And hopefully you will maintain that as we host trainings, for you to get better, improve yourself, to practice, to get to know the other guys of the Order. As well as with war, when a war comes around, you fight in a war, you prove yourself there, maybe get some kills, do something heroic, like, bombing their resupply, or, helping save another player. That, that can really stand out to us. And over time, eventually we'll, either catch on, or via suggestion, or, hey, we should really look into promoting this guy. Some of my paladins will come to me about that. we'll look into it, and if we think that you're ready, we'll bring you up to a higher rank. With war, you'll have to be rewarded with knight. And if we think that you're ready, we'll bring you up to Templar, which is a very basic, we give you stuff to do leadership role, which
Yeah.
we're still revamping the system a little bit, but currently, as it stands, Templars currently have a very promising role within the order. As for running the nation, making calls as a leader, like for myself, me being king, me having my right hand man, or my ambassador who runs the diplomatic corps. As for those points of leadership, there is no real ladder for it, specifically for the fact that we, or rather myself, for as much as people will say, oh, it's just the King's Friend Group or whatever, I absolutely despise the term that is used for that. I can understand it. I don't blame them for viewing it as such, but I personally do not prefer that, and have always tried to make it less of a friend group, but more or less people who have grown to become friends.
Yeah.
Off of me picking those who I see as fit, who have merit to their skills, why I have specifically chosen them. Which some people I have chosen for the sake that they can take notes, they can give ideas. Some people I have specifically chosen simply just to play devil's advocate on the council. Everyone has their own unique role in my mind, whether people can understand it or not. But there is no clear ladder to council, simply for the fact that there is no way past natural rate of succession, or if that's the way to put it, or just natural way of me understanding and finding out that this person deserves and more or less is going to be not only of use, but also going to be very helpful long term with the community, with the running of the nation, and the like. And so that is why I would likely bring someone to council, but I can't exactly rely on that with the community. So sometimes I'll add maybe a handful of counselors in a week, or I don't end up adding any for a year, which I have ended up doing. But
So-
that's basically the only political advancement I can think of off the top of my head.
So Aurora looks for people who are willing and able to go be above and beyond.
We do, yes, but we don't. We also don't hold expectations of people, because we understand that this is just a game.
Yeah. Well then, Canine, thank you for showing up today, and thank you for answering the questions.
Anytime, man. I'm always open to talk with people. Teach them about the server, teach them anything that they want to know. And if they don't actually, or if I don't actually know anything about it, I can certainly point them towards someone who does. So I always appreciate just talking. So thanks for inviting me.
No problem.
Thank you, K9, thank you, E-Man, and thank you everyone who listened through our first podcast series with K9 and with Aurora. Next time, we hope to interview another leader, and I don't suppose you have to have two brain cells to guess which continent they're coming from. It's Haven. But anyway, we'll catch you next time. Have a glorious week, and please elect me as Supreme Leader of Haven. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.